proudly proclaimed, "You will see that Skull and Bones is a fully fledged game. It is a very big game." I mean, just putting a bunch of water everywhere and then scattering NPCs does not quantify a big game. Ubisoft CEO defends Skull and Bones premium $70 price tag, insists it's a quadruple A quality. Nah, I gotta love the hopium that this Ubisoft CEO has that his game is even a double A. Frankly, despite being delayed 6 times so far, Ubisoft co-founder and CEO Yves Guillemot is highly confident in Skull and Bones, so much that he is tempting fate, invoking the dreaded quadruple A moniker. The last developer we recall doing that was the ill-fated Striking Distance studio with Callisto Protocol, a game with a sad ending. But if anyone believes that Skull and Bones is even a AAA, you're insane. You're absolutely insane. I don't feel like people even enjoyed the open beta. And there's another one out right now, and I don't really see anybody actually enjoying the game. Guillemot made the comment during a Q&A session conference call discussing the company's Q3 sales for its fiscal year of 2024. One knowledgeable caller suggested that Skull and Bones appeared to be following a live service format, recently revealed a year 1 roadmap, and asked why Ubisoft is insisting on charging $70 when a free-to-pay model might be better suited. I would agree. 4As must... Yeah. I mean, honestly, anything that comes out of Ubisoft is just guaranteed to be hot trash. Anything after Valhalla was probably like the last good game they had, but most other IPs that they have let die, they have spoiled, or they've turned into like just downgrades. Like the most recent Assassin's Creed. I mean, on top of that, in the industry, it's called the Ubisoft treatment, which is just over-promising and under-delivering. That's actually a phrase that is used in marketing that Ubisoft didn't coin, they just did multiple times, so everyone's just like, yeah, that suits it pretty good. After playing Heartland and hearing from a lot of the devs about the issues that they are running into making that game, there is so much bureaucratic level of at that company that they can't get anything done, which is the reason why games like Palworld succeed and Ubisoft is failing to just make an enjoyable game. They don't understand how to make games fun anymore. That's a great segue into why Skull and Bones is gonna fail. Skull and Bones, in its core, is not a good game. It's not a fun game. It's a game to go do chores and have really bad voice acting. That's what that game is. I think so many studios don't know how to make good fun games anymore. No, they don't. They definitely don't. But Guillemot asserted that the scale, complete nature, and level of polish and quality deserves a $70 price tag. If they think that Skull and Bones deserves a $70 price tag, I think that they're frankly just drinking the Kool-Aid a little bit too hard. I think they're just drinking it a little bit too hard to think that. I fully get why game companies want to charge $70 because of inflation, but they kind of have to earn that right. And I think we're gonna see, this is, I'm calling it right now. I'm gonna call it right now. Skull and Bones is going to release. It's going to have very low to mediocre sales. 4 or 5 months from now, we're going to see there is going to be layoffs at Ubisoft, most likely with this team, and they're going to have a cost-cutting measures because of how to say this, lower than expected quarterly sales. That is the exact playbook on what is going to happen to Ubisoft at the end of the year. You not. Most companies are just looking to make a buck at this point and not really, because it's very expensive. It's very costly to make a game from scratch. So usually you want to start from somewhere, like Palworld. Palworld was started from Craftopia. It was not started from scratch, you know? But I felt like enough was done that it felt different than Craftopia. But it's crazy that a small team, like this game has been delayed 6 times. 6 times, and it's just a mediocre soup. It is literally mediocre soup. He proudly proclaimed, "You will see that Skull and Bones is a fully fledged game. It is a very big game." I mean, just putting a bunch of water everywhere and then scattering NPCs does not quantify a big game. I hope he understands that. I found more enjoyment playing Sea of Thieves combat than I did ever in Skull and Bones. And we feel that people will really see how vast and complete the game is. He keeps saying complete. It's like he's trying to like convince himself that it's complete. It's a real, full, triple, quadruple A game that will deliver in the long run. I'm sure, just like you delivered on Division 2. I heard that game's doing great right now. Very easy to say that the top-down problem. It's so evident anyone who defends them is just drinking the Kool-Aid. Oh yeah. Like Ubisoft is definitely one of those companies where they've had some amazing IPs that they have just shoved into the ground so hard that it's laughable. It should be a masterclass on how to mismanage your IP in game studios. Sea of Thieves at release gave me 45-minute fight with another crew that it was engaged from the beginning to end. Oh yeah. No, and the best part is in Sea of Thieves, you can talk with a megaphone to each other while you're fighting. It's great, but at its core, it's a really fun game. It's a little chory, right? You know, it's kind of like point A, point B type of thing, but it does have its peak moments where it's really, really fun. And I feel like Skull and Bones took that formula and made it worse. And that's why they've delayed 6 times. I don't know, how long has this game been in development? 7, 8 years? Like, when E3 was still a thing when they announced this game. 10? No shot. It has not been a decade. Skull and Bones is the first video game led by developer Ubisoft Singapore. Oh no. This game developed... Oh, it's more than 10. You can't see it, but I have my hands on my head right now. Imagine working on a game for 11 years that was based off the Assassin's Creed Black Flag engine. Wouldn't it be surprised if they had multiple iterations in development? Oh, they definitely did. Black Flag was so good. I never played Black Flag. Skull and Bones is Black Flag. I would argue that Anthem was more fun than Skull and Bones. Hands down, Anthem was more fun than Skull and Bones. Skull and Bones, I couldn't even stomach 2 hours of that game. It's a more stripped down version of Black Flag. Oh, I think honestly what needs to happen with a lot of these big companies now is they need to go back to not having the 15 levels of bureaucratic to get something approved and released and worked on. Not even mid-tier. These small companies are going to massively outperform them, and we've seen it time and time again because they can release something faster, iterate on it faster, and frankly understand what makes something good or not. Anthem definitely was fun during the short lifespan. It was. I really enjoyed Anthem, but its end game was very lackluster, right? It was a really cool intro, decent mid, and there was no end game. Sign up for Skull and Bones Wondership and just play Black Flag. Like, do you guys actually think that this game is gonna sell well? And is it even on Steam? Is it on Steam or is it only on Ubisoft? Nope, only Ubisoft. So on Ubisoft's on their Ubisoft platform, they can hide the numbers. Maybe Epic. Yeah, Epic doesn't have numbers either. Ubisoft has been really hellbent on like hiding their numbers so that people don't understand how poorly their games are doing. I think it'll be another flop as they use the cover to cut employees and their fault. It is kind of their fault though, a little bit. Like you can't, I'm gonna play devil's advocate here. You can't only blame C-level for a bad game. At a certain point, you kind of have to look in the mirror if you're a game designer and be like, yeah, I designed a bad game. I don't understand apparently what fun is. Or maybe that was their fun, but that's not mass appeal's fun. You know, everybody's fun is different. So it remains to be seen how Skull and Bones performs in these uncharted waters. Oh God, okay, cool, uncharted waters. Yep. But Alpha Beta is running this weekend ahead of its game full launch next week on the 16th of February on PS5. Either way, we won't have much longer to wait to learn the veracity of a Guildemont's claim. I mean, we're just gonna figure out that Guillemont is full of shit, like almost every CEO. I think we just need to look at, was it Todd Howard? That's his name, right? Todd Howard is a great example of another CEO that's full of and I think he's just fluffing up the investors or whoever the hell he was talking about in this QA session. I love this part, like reading the comments here about, you know, them saying that it's a quadruple A game. Every A is for every 2 years in development, but that would mean only 8 years. Yeah, I mean, if we do that, right, it should be 5 A's. Actually, it would be 5.5 A's. You're right, I was too kind. A for how many IQ points you need to play this game. I might not be the right game. It might be the right game for an A4, but it's an interesting topic of conversation, that's for sure. What would you consider a quadruple A quality? I mean, to be honest, for me, a quadruple A quality game would be Baldur's Gate, where it is feature complete, it has great graphics, it has, I forgot the number of hours of voice acting that it has for like the random offshoot trees of too. Like, it has contextual voice acting, and if you were a barbarian and you saw those 2 ogres having sex, you can then comment about the dick size of the one orc. Who thinks about that? You have to play a certain class to have a certain option. And it's not just like a text line, you know, it's voice acted. I would consider that quadruple A quality. The drivel that has come out for the past few years is nothing close. I would say Suicide Squad doesn't even consider that. I wouldn't even consider that even double A, unless you're just quantifying how much money they've spent. But in general, yeah, it's just a hot pile of trash. I love this article, or this post, right? Skull and Bones. Anyone who tried or trying the current open beta is actually gonna buy it. I can't see anyone actually buying this game if they get to try it for free during the open beta. I've heard all the bad previews for what is actually worse than I could possibly have imagined. The sea looks good, but everything else looks awful. The character models are crap. The NPCs look slightly better, but have terrible animations. That's very true. Even the UI feels dated and clunky. There are loading screens everywhere. Actually, that is true. If your game has loading screens every 10 feet, it is not a quadruple A game. You can't boast how large your game is when every 10 feet there's a loading screen. And I'm being over dramatic there, but it's pretty true. You're like, oh, that boat over there. Let me go to that boat. Loading screen. Like, come on, man. We're in 2024. You shouldn't have freaking loading screens. Landing at a beach or settlement, loading screen. Boarding a wreck, loading screen. Using a cannon, loading screen. Starfield? I mean, yeah, we just talked about Todd Howard. I mean, I feel like both these CEOs are kind of like in the same boat, right? Where they just are gonna drive their companies into the ground. Like, honestly, I have no faith that the next Elder Scrolls is gonna be good. I have no faith, because I doubt most of the people that made Skyrim great are still there. Oh, and you can't wait. Okay, 1 second. You can't swim in the sea in a game about boats? Really? So they made a game. You can swim in Black Flag? Well, apparently they just took that out. Stripped down version of Black Flag. I mean, yeah, no, you're not wrong. You are not wrong. And the fact that they're like, you can't swim. There's loading screens everywhere. Animations feel like UI feels dated. I very much agree with that. And then they're asking $70 for that. Like, do you think that the game was just delayed too many times? And if this game was launched, say, 8 years ago, it would have been acceptable for where it is right now? I would say yes, right? I feel like this is a consequence of delays and ineptitude, definitely. Like, there's a massive amount of ineptitude there. In general, the delays screwed this game, which means that they iterated so many different ways and they didn't understand what made a good game. Delusional just trying to overhype their game just to see if anyone is a sucker for spending a $70 price tag? Yeah, I would very much agree to that.